Church. Sometimes I get stoned in my backyard, lay off in the tall grass so my view is the stars. I think about nothing, get to clear my thoughts from all the thunder and lightning, so I feel a spark. Sometimes I get higher than the Colorado Rockies, hoping that the county sheriff don't stop me. Like Charlie Daniels said, you shouldn't smoke at dope, but damn it, I can't help, I love Rolling Stone. With the windows rolled down and the radio up, sweet tea full in my solo cup, listening to the humming of the 44, sounding like a concert. I'm a beat up door, arm hanging out the window, smiling away, smoking on some ground where the cattle graze. Charlie Daniels said you shouldn't go smoke at dope. Hell, I can't help, I love Rolling Stone. Yeah, I love Rolling Stone. Smoke rolling round the cab with the dome light on, looking like a stage for a Leonard Skinner song. Hanging out with Mary Jane, but she's making the time go slow. Making memories with my buddies through the thick green smoke, puff passing out the windows of my old Tahoe. Lifted so damn high, I can't come down, driving under the speed limit in my town. With the windows rolled down and the radio up, sweet tea full in my solo cup, listening to the humming of the 44, sounding like a concert. I'm a beat up door, arm hanging out the window, smiling away, smoking on some ground where the cattle graze. Charlie Daniels said you shouldn't go smoke at dope. Hell, I can't help, I love Rolling Stone. Yeah, I love Rolling Stone. There ain't nothing like the swaying of a windy back road, baked out like a barn full of tobacco. I know Jesus drank wine, but I bet he wouldn't mind sitting with me in my Chevy, passing around a few times. With the windows rolled down, the radio up, sweet tea full in our solo cups, listening to the humming of the 44s, like a concert out my beat up door. Arm hanging out the window, smiling away, smoking on some ground where the cattle graze. Oh, Willie said there's not nothing wrong with smoking dope. So light one up and let's go Rolling Stone. So pass me that and let's start Rolling Stone.
Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? There was 4 people when I started that song, and now we got 1. Hey, teacher, good morning. How are you? Hope you are doing well. What do we got to talk about this morning? Of course, Turning Point USA, they're falling apart. Candace came out with the smoke yesterday. She just lit Erica Kirk on fire. She poured gas on her and just lit her on fire last night. Oh my God. Destroyed her. Because there was an article that came out where Erica called her a bitch. That bitch is what it said in quotation marks. So she came firing back. We'll listen to that. Just all kinds of random videos, I think. Probably complain about Thindu and Tommy for a little while. Where is Thindu? I think maybe we'll play a little music trivia till people get in here. Let's see here. Let's do 90s again. 90s music trivia. We already started this, but we'll pick up where we left off.
Honesty has always been our policy, but the choir's new.
You have farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
You like that? Hey, teacher?
As a QFC pharmacist, I like to get to know the patient.
I have so many. I need to, they're all on my phone though, and I'm on my laptop, so I have to transfer them over. You would not be, I mean, you would be shocked at how many, I mean, I'm not kidding. I have hundreds, literally hundreds of photos that I have made before AI came out. I mean, AI has been around for a long time, but you know, just within the last year, really have people been using AI to make all these pictures. You know, I do the old Photoshop techniques, and I have hundreds of them. I put one in the, did I put it on my thumbnail? I sent one in the text group a couple days ago where it was, instead of Siegfried and Roy, it's Stigfried and Roy, and it's Tommy and Thindu next to the lion, the white lion. I have hundreds of pictures of those guys. I mean, it's funny because if you name something like, oh, I want to see those guys as Scooby-Doo, you know, them as Fred and everybody, I already have it. You know, you want to see Thindu as Bob the Builder, already have it. You want to see them as the Goodfellas or in The Godfather, of course, I already have all the, you know what I mean? Like, I've done so many. It's not even funny. Grateful, I hope you're doing well. I'm going to play a little trivia real quick. Till everybody gets here. I can't even focus yet.
On a personal level, there was a new prescription that
I have no idea. No idea on that one. I'll let you guys guess. Picking my granddaughter up this afternoon. It's going to be over 90 today. So her mom mentioned something about going to a splash park. So we may do that. I'm sure I'll know this one when they say it, but I have no idea. Who is this? Nice. That happens. No one on this one. I'm just going to play this one. No Limit by Two Unlimited. Never heard of them. That one's my main chocolate strawberry dipping song right there. That's on my playlist. Well, it's not on my main playlist. But everybody's got to know that one. Joe Della, Gangster's Paradise. How did Coolio die? Has anybody went down that rabbit hole? He was pretty young, wasn't he? Sweet Tea's in the house. We're doing a little trivia before we get started. Just a couple songs. No idea over here. Zero clue. I don't think I've ever heard that one. If I have, I changed the station. Do-do-do-do-do. Jamiroquai. Beginning a long day of travel, literally plane, train, and automobile. Damn. Well, I do have one story of a plane that went down over the Atlantic in 1952. And because of their high-tech sonar, they were able to locate this plane. But safe travels. Jamiroquai or something. I think that's as close as we're going to get. I have zero clue.
She's just a cosmic girl.
Cosmic Girl, Jamiroquai. Yep. Who is this? Joe and Grateful. I mean, you guys already know I know who this one is. This guy grew up in Aberdeen. He performed, the small amount of time that I went to a university, Western Washington University. It's in up by the Canadian border when I was 18. I was a freshman up there until I dropped out. I think I was there for 2 full semesters. Those guys would play up there. That was 1992. They were already famous. But the year before that, they were doing house parties up there. And my roommate, who was a junior, his friends claimed that Nirvana and some other band, I think Soundgarden, actually, performed at their house the year before for just like a fucking party. Nirvana, Nevermind. It is Nirvana. Nevermind is the name of the album. Fly Charlotte to Travel City. Then fly Charlotte. From Charlotte to Traverse City, then to Boston. Train from Boston to Providence with your 84-year-old dad. Wow. That is a lot of traveling. Well, I hope you have a lot better luck today than yesterday. Smells Like Teen Spirit.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny.
Interestingly enough, this guy, also from the state of Washington, lives in Auburn, which is the town where I always sell my chocolate strawberries at. He's never been a customer. He even talks about Tacoma. Anybody on this one? TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. Sir Mix-a-Lot, Big Butts, I think is the name of the song. Was never a fan of this song, but Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Oh, baby, I want to get whipped up and take your picture. My homeboys.
You know I'm such a fool for you.
You got me wrapped around your finger, and do you have to let it linger? Cranberries. Grateful got it. Linger by Cranberries. Joe got it too.
Do you have to let it linger? Do you have to?
I better quit answering this. I better quit answering these. Sweet Tea's gonna accuse me of looking ahead.
Do you?
Oh shit. Trying to sing this one in my head. Dang, the chorus isn't coming to me. What do you guys got? Nothing? Play it again, she says. Yeah, we'll do it one more time. I can hear it in my head. Damn. Melissa Etheridge. It could be. I have no idea. It is a guy's voice, though. Dang, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I'm just going to play it. Save tonight. Save tonight. I wouldn't have got that. I wouldn't have got that.
Do you want to play with me?
Sure. You want me to help you with your groceries?
Save tonight.
By Eagle Eye Cherry. Never would have got that. I thought it was Stay Tonight, not Save Tonight.
Fight the break of dawn.
All right, one more. I have no idea on that one. Eagle Eye. Grateful kind of knew what it was. A teacher says sounds familiar. Yeah, no clue. Let's do another one. This one sucks. No offense, Dr. Alvin, but I mean, come on.
You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. Imagination. Is that Let's Go Barbie? You have to go park? All right. Pretty soon we'll never have to park again. It's like, AI robot. It'll be called I Hey Teacher will be the name of the robot. I Hey Teacher, please go park my car. Barbie girl, Barbie life. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I have no idea who sings it. I just know they go, let's go Barbie, let's go Barbie. My kids used to sing that all the time. I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Life is like
All right, one more. We can't stop them. Rhythm of the Nation or something like that. No clue on this one. Barbie World, yeah. Who would sing this one? I want to say somebody like Black Eyed Peas or something like that. I have no idea. I'm just going to play it. I think it's Rhythm of a Nation or something. Rhythm is a Dancer by Snap. Huh. All right, let me see what I have here. Let me see here what I have prepared. Tommy says, you prepare for your show? Thank God for ALV to balance out the group.
I don't know who it was. Was it Nate Valhalla? I think it was Nate Valhalla. Valhalla VFT is the name of his YouTube channel. He's the former Green Beret guy. Don't really trust him 100% on his views, but he does know what he's talking about police tactics, military, all this kind of stuff. And he was the one that was saying that not only are these ICE agents that they put out there that are killing people, are they undertrained? They have domestic violence records. These are bad people that they're hiring for the jobs for the ICE agents. AOV is pretty neat and tidy, right? So there was the guy in Maine who got killed through his windshield by this guy. And this is him talking to his, I believe, his ex-wife. So this is just kind of an example of the kind of people that these people are. And, you know, we know why they're killing people when they're driving 2 miles an hour at them. Because these are like violent, arrogant, just disturbed people that they don't train and they just give a badge to, which is just fucking crazy. It's almost like a form of terrorism or abuse for the American people, if you think about it. But anyway, this is the ICE agent that killed the guy in Maine talking to his ex-wife on the phone.
Every single female in your bloodline is nothing but a disgusting fat. And all of you should have your throat cut. Yeah, you should. Every single female in your.
So they bleeped it out, but
No one was willing.
every single female in your bloodline is nothing but a disgusting fat bleep. All of you should have your throat slit. And even, you know, I mean, the fact that he used the word bloodline, you know, it just takes it to a whole nother level, you know. And that's the type of person that they're hiring for an ICE agent. You know what I mean? That's not normal. You know, like if you get in a fight or an argument with somebody, that's, you know, you might call some, you're a bitch, you're a bastard, you're a motherfucker, fuck you, fuck your mom. You're a two-timing whore. You know, you're a gold digging bitch. But when you start saying things like everybody in your bloodline is a disgusting fat pig, that, you know what I mean? That's like, that's just on a whole nother level. That's on a whole nother level. That's, you know what I mean? And those are the type of people they want to be those ICE agents. And that's why Renee Goodman, or whatever her name was, in Minnesota, and that dude in Maine got killed. It wasn't by accident, you know. And they have those vetting processes for law enforcement for a reason. You know, they don't hire certain people, you know, just based on physical ability, or it's very disturbing. Vigilantes, yeah. It is Wednesday today, isn't it? Happy Hump Day, yes. Don't kid yourself, Stiggs prepares. Yes, we know he does. Stiggs prepares. I called him out today, and he told me to shut up, suck a bag of dicks, and I can't remember the other. I was thinking about that this morning. You know, we're all gonna miss that when, you know, life is so short. You know, it's good to have friends that you can just fuck with. You know, fun mornings sometimes. But this guy, they want people with an edge. Yeah. Yeah. You know, the thing is, you know, it reminds me of something that happened here in Washington State a few years ago. There was a Mexican boy, I think he was 16. And I don't know, I think if he was mentally ill or what he did, I don't know if he was shoplifting or what the situation was. But he was already handcuffed behind his back. And the cop shot him in the back and killed him when he was handcuffed already, a 16-year-old boy. And I believe he was the first cop in the country to be charged with murder on duty. If I know he was in Washington State, I think it was in the country if you look it up. And the cop that shot him, he was a white supremacist cop, and the mugshot revealed that he had a tattoo, or just below his neckline, and I can't remember what it said. But he had some fucking weird fucking messages on him. That dude, the cop that did that, weird fucking, like straight, like Turning Point USA shit. I'm thinking, like I heard on a prison show, it was Fresh Out with that dude Big Hurt. He had somebody on his show one time, and he was talking about correction officers in the middle of Florida, like in the country part of Florida, have raccoon tails on their keychains for coons. That's how racist they are over there. I mean, that's the level of racist that this guy is. It's hard to find that level of racism in somebody. You know what I mean? You got the nerve to walk around with a coon tail, in a black prison as a white supremacist. You know what I mean? Like, that's fucking some seriously gangster racist shit. What's going on, Todd? Let me guess. Oh, he already said it. Going into work. Todd is the guy that walks. When he talks to his grandkids, little Todd. I don't know. I wouldn't dox his wife anyways. But little Todd and Todd Lena. Let me tell you a story about when I used to walk to school up hills both ways in the snow. And by the way, I had 3 jobs when I was going to school. Yep, I made pizzas. I was a DJ, and I also was an event coordinator by the time I was in the 6th grade. And I would get all my events lined up while I was walking to school uphill. That's Todd. Everyone forgets this. Florida's in the deep South. Yeah, it's not to be played with down there. So anyway, I mean, that's a problem, and the reason why I keep harping on this is because this is not going to go away. The people that have hijacked our country with the religion, the education, politics, all of it, most people don't understand the level of racism that we're dealing with. This is why Chud the Builder was out there telling people not to chimp out, straight up calling them the N-word to their face. He's put on by the same people that killed Charlie Kirk. They want to take over. They're pretty much, and now they're merging our military, the Israeli and the U.S. military. It's not going away. And you see how they treat the Palestinians. That, I know we don't really know the specifics of that whole bullshit story. But you see how, just generally speaking, the stories that come out, they let dogs rape Palestinians, literally. Okay. They just blow them up. They just drop bombs and missiles over there and just blow the whole fucking everybody up. They just kill everybody. They just wake up one day and like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just take that block, but just kill everybody. Could you imagine that? That's what they're going to do here. That's what those people are going to do here. And they've already started. Look at the fires in the Palisades. If you go back and you tell me that wasn't on purpose. Of course that was on purpose. It's everything is by design. All the way down to the DEI hiring of the fire department people, the lesbian fucking fire chief, Karen Bass, Gavin Newsom. They're just all part of that same plan. And it's crazy because now we have more people that are shifting.
President Trump. What?
We don't even need to listen to these guys. But
nobody knows. There is like this closet.
My ex is all fucked up lately. I don't know what the problem is with it. It plays all these random videos. But I mean, this is what we have in our government right now. I mean, is anybody not sick of this at this point? You know what I mean? It's when I see these guys in suits sitting like this, it's just like a film comes over my face. You know what I mean? It's like I don't even want to be exposed to it. I hate these people with every fiber of my body. JD Vance, all of them. Just lying pieces of shit. Anyway, I'm just going to move on. This is pretty interesting. I got a couple videos of Hunter Biden, you know. I mean, how fucked up do we got to be to listen to Hunter Biden? But, you know, there's some gems in there, you know. I listened to him on Candace, and I have a video with him arguing with Nick Fuentes. But in this video, because I already listened to it, it makes me think about poor little Hunter Biden as a little boy in Washington, D.C., because, you know, his dad became senator. I think he had to wait to be old enough. He was like 29 when he got elected. He had to wait for his birthday to roll around to become senator, I think. Imagine being a little boy in Washington, D.C. with all, you know, it's sad to say, but you already know there's more capable pedophiles in Washington, D.C., concentrated per capita probably than anywhere in the country. Anyway, we'll just listen to him talk real quick. Talk about Lindsey Graham. That's what made me think of pedophiles, Lindsey Graham.
Everybody knows there is like this closeted gay mafia, largely Republican, that exists in Washington, D.C., and everybody knows every single one of them who's gay. And so and what I believe, the only reason that is relevant is because I believe that internal conflict creates so much vitriol inside a person that they take it out on the rest of the world. And they do.
Todd, think about this on the way to work too.
And so what they do is their whole lives, they've been closeted. And so you have this like black ball inside yourself, this like blackened heart by the fact that you can't be who you want to be. And so you take it out on everybody else. And these men, largely men, have done exactly that. And everybody knows who they are. Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you seen, speaking of that, I say that Trump is now in his deathbed confession.
But by the way, like for Lindsey Graham, like everybody knows that Lindsey Graham was gay.
Right.
And I don't like, I don't have I really had, and I liked Lindsey Graham when I was a kid, but everybody knew that he was gay.
Right.
But we still kind of like talk about it on like CNN, like, you know, like, well, then the only reason it's relevant is because of the fact that they seem to do everything that they possibly can to take out their inability to know and live their true life on everybody else.
There's a gem in there, right? I mean, because that's so true. I like what this lady said here, though, before he cut her off.
Yeah.
Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you seen, speaking of that, I say that Trump is now in his deathbed confession.
Deathbed confession. Do you need me to come up there and tell you where to go? No, I already know you're going to tell me to fuck off. I'll tell the crowd for you. Osada, you can fuck right off. I'll even say it like you would. Osada, you can fuck right off. How about that? He does suck. Hey, teacher doesn't like Hunter Biden. Yeah, I mean, I get it. But, you know, you could see why I was saying that about, you know, when he said when he was a kid, he liked Lindsey Graham. Yikes. Could you imagine? Oh, who's coming over for dinner? Oh, well, we've got Lindsey Graham, my neighbor Jeffrey Epstein, Howie's coming, Howie Lutnick. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. I'd ask if I could go eat over across the street. Where's Tommy at? I'd go eat over at Tommy's house. Hey, teacher says, Todd, you do your thing. You know, Todd's a busy guy. Todd's working his ass off. It's too bad we all live so far away from each other. You know, because our businesses kind of go hand in hand, and especially with what hopefully I got in the works with my daughter and her friend. You know, it's going to take a little while. She just started a new job, my daughter. But with her face painting, and her friend makes the animal keychains. I want to get a cotton candy machine. You know, as my granddaughter gets a little bit older, we're going to have a whole little kid. You know, that's part of the problem that any market lacks is the kid part. You know, you'd be lucky to get, you know, somebody like me out there that has like snow cones, or, you know, this, you get face painting with all the glitter and all of that, little girly knickknacks and jewelry and the keychains and all of that, cotton candy, lemonade, snow cones, and then all the little desserts that I make, the caramel apples. I'm going to have a lock on the kids strip mall at the market. I just got to figure, you know, it's just going to take time to develop it, but, you know, that's where it's at for me. Anyway, let's keep moving. But yeah, no, Todd's working his ass off. Good for him.
All right, Delta 26.
What do we have here? Oh, Sweet Tea, you don't want to hear this one. Is Sweet Tea still here? Maybe we better skip this one. Sweet Tea, are you still here? If Sweet Tea still here, we'll skip this one. Sweet Tea. Hello, hello, Sweet Tea. Test 1, 2, 3, Sweet Tea. All right, Sweet Tea. Well, if you're here and you don't want to hear about a plane incident, don't listen, because we're going to play it. Yesterday at the LaGuardia Airport, there was a dude apparently with a handheld rocket launcher on the ground.
04 LaGuardia Tower. Wind 210 at 10, runway 22, clear to land. Man pad alert issued at LaGuardia Airport at 0027. Use extreme caution.
All right, clear to land, runway 22, Delta 2604. Hey, could you explain what a man pad is?
Yeah, that's a man portable air defense system. Yeah, it's basically it was a report of a rocket launcher.
Okay, where was that?
There was a report by the Port Authority Police. They said by, I believe, Terminal C. We had conflicting reports, but nothing has been an issue as of yet.
Okay.
And, you know, the thing is about this one, you know, I've studied 9/11 more than most people should. You know, I haven't for a long time, but, man, I was knee-deep in that back in the day. And the day of 9/11, NORAD, which is the North Atlantic, I can't remember what it stands for. They basically are the air defense. They're in charge of defending the eastern seaboard, from the North Atlantic threats, basically. And they were conducting operations that day where they were simulating planes crashing into buildings. And I'm not kidding. The day that those planes crashed into the Twin Towers, NORAD was conducting training operations simulating planes crashing into buildings. And so when the calls came in, the dude on the radio literally said, is this real world or exercise? Because they got confused in the beginning. They're like, they didn't know. They thought it was part of the training, but it didn't make sense. It sounds like this. It just completely, when I hear these guys talk, it just immediately sent me back to the what, you know, I heard, because I listened to that like 100 times from the 9/11 one. I don't know, guys. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I just think that, you know, they're probably going to write it off as, you know, neither here nor there. But in a world where, you know, our country is being infiltrated. Look at Canada too, I mean, and it's not by accident. Our country is, we have so many migrants moving here from, we don't even know where they're from. We have no clue, You want to say they come from Mexico? You want to say they come from Central South America, Africa, the Middle East? We don't fucking know where they come from. Europe, Eastern Ukraine. We have no idea where these people are from, but from a lot of these countries, they're very well versed in rocket launching, handheld weapons, like all that shit. IEDs, suicide bombings, with the vests and the cars, all that shit. I mean, I've been saying that that's coming to America for a long time now, and hopefully that's nothing, but something is brewing, especially for the 25th anniversary of 9/11, possibly. Definitely possible, And, well, what else is interesting, too? I think the deadline to decide whether the Tyler Robinson trial goes to trial is September 1st. That's kind of interesting timing, too. I mean, it's getting close to the year anniversary, but of course, Charlie Kirk was killed. We might as well say 9/11. Same thing. 9/10, 9/11. What is it about that date that is so significant, right? We talked about that before, There's definitely a huge significance behind that day, but we're just not privy to the information, I think it has a lot to do with numerology and, how many days into the year it is, how many days left in the year there are, and just a different calendar than we're used to. I don't know exactly how it all works, but, and that's the problem with when you have all these people here too, because, I think our heightened senses, just naturally pop up around the 4th of July, around, the certain holidays, around 9/11. But these other like Jewish holidays and, and all these different holidays, we don't know what they are. Most of us don't know when they are. So our guard is completely down for some of this stuff.
We're so photogenic.
Erica Kirk. There seems to be a never-ending list of things she's done. I don't know about you guys.
And you want to ask me why
we're so photogenic?
Sorry. How many of you ladies out there, how many people have been to a gym where they just happen to be filming a Nike commercial? And they're like, hey, would you like to be in the Nike commercial? I mean, come on. Well,
a lot of times when you play a sport, the only time you see a picture of yourself is in the program, but now you're out taking pretty pictures.
You're sweet. That's something I actually never really thought about. Immediately, when I was little, I was 13, and my mom, we were at one of my basketball practices and scrimmages, and there was a commercial group that was filming a Nike commercial at that same gym. And they saw me shooting around, and they had me sign a waiver, and they're like, hey, you'd be great for this Nike commercial for these young kids. My mom was like, yeah, really? Should we try it? And so I got thrown into that. And then, so I don't know. That's a really great question. I have no idea.
So, oh my God, I just get thrown into it. You know what Erica Kirk's downfall is going to be? Is the fact that she is attracted to underage girls. That's going to be her downfall. I seen a video the other day where I was like, damn. And then I seen another video this morning where I'm like, damn, I know it. I know it, and I say that with just like, it's the truth. And I think that is truly going to be what her downfall is going to be, because she's not going to be able to control her urges. They're too strong. And you see it in too many of these videos. You're like, damn. Like the one where I was like, what the fuck? was where they said, well, we already know about her, you know, with the 15-year-old girl and the, I want to touch your butt and I want to see your happy garden. I want to be in your happy garden and all this happy place or whatever the fuck she said. But Charlie Kirk had a bunch of 15-year-old girls on the panel one day. You know, they looked like they were about 15, 14, 15. And Erica had sent in a $200 donation and it said something like $200 make you holler. And Charlie didn't believe it was from Erica. He thought that the producers were fucking with them, but it really was from her. And it was just another little, you know, normal people don't say that kind of stuff around kids. There's just too many things. Well, I have another one that I want to play. Where I was like, damn.
Why are you a Nazi?
I'm going to get to it here in a second.
No, you're.
You know what?
For no reason.
I'm not going to do that to myself. They're way back there. We'll just keep.
And you want to ask me, why are you a Nazi?
I'll go back to it. So this is the interview that just happened between Hunter Biden and Nick Fuentes, you know, and they've got Hunter just making the rounds everywhere. So wonder if Charlie caught her looking at stuff. She is going to slip up. Maybe. Somebody has a really good theory about the last night they spent together. Because he didn't sleep in their bed. And she admits that. And so these people are like so good at like breaking down timelines, and, you know, they figured out like there was an argument. You know, Charlie knew he was going to die. Like he was sent out text messages that night. And so who really, you know, I mean, it's just, the whole thing is just. Tommy Stiggs. Hello. Yes, we are live. We are live. We brought you up 3 or 4 times already today, sir. How are you? But Nick Fuentes here, nobody likes this guy anyways. I mean, he's just a weirdo. But the thing about him is, you know, first of all, and this is just random. Please explain to me what happened on January 6th. Does anybody really know what happened on January 6th? They always talk about these, you know, dates like it's actually like 9/11. We all that lived through it, we all know what happened on 9/11. Tell me what happened on October 7th. You know, we know October 7th was something about Hamas or something, took a bunch of Israelis hostage, and I could give a fuck less, to be honest. I've been in meetings. I don't watch replays. Yeah, none of us watch replays. Well, this show you could watch the replay of. You know, like if you just maybe wanted to see if there was a 1 in a million chance that I said anything that was worthwhile. You know what I mean? Like once every 3 months, I might have a video that like, oh, damn, I didn't know that. But that would be about it. But I would highly unrecommend putting yourself through that torture. It's not worth it to go through all my nonsense to find the one video. I wouldn't even do that. But some people do watch, you know, like Sweet Tea, she'll watch it, but she'll just be because she's like 30 minutes behind or whatever. She wants to listen to the whole show. Tommy was in meetings. Today, I'm not doing much today. I have a huge, well, I am doing much today. Besides babysitting, I got a huge order that I got to fill for tomorrow. So I got to make sure I got all that together. The problem is it's going to be 100 degrees today. So there's that. But not going to let that stop me. I'm just going to have to probably do a little bit less work this afternoon and a little bit more work this evening is what it's going to come down to. Chocolate is really finicky in this weather. You know, once it gets above like 88 degrees, it just fucked up. If anybody ever started their chocolate career at 90 degrees, they probably quit the first day. Todd has a meeting in 20 minutes. Todd's got a meeting. They're going to be discussing what events they're going to line up for the Bills games. Well, you guys don't have the Bills playing next to you anymore, huh? How's that going to work? Is that stadium still there? Are they going to tear that stadium down or what? You guys should buy the stadium, the empty stadium, and use it for parking for big shows. All right. Well, anyway, Nick Fuentes here was at January 6th with a megaphone. If that doesn't scream that you're like somehow connected to the government, I don't know what does. I don't know about you guys. I had anything better to do than to go to Washington, D.C. for January 6th. You know? You could say, Osada, I will pay for you to go there. I'll pay your hotel. We'll go eat at the nicest steakhouse. We'll do it all. Everything. I'll give you $1,000 spending money. I'm still gonna say no. Fuck no. No. I'm not coming. Hell no. I mean, there is a price that you could pay me where I'm like, okay, fine, I'll come, but it's not no $1,000. Anyway, Nick and Hunter Biden.
And you want to ask me, why are you a Nazi?
Inclusion has been our greatest strength. Diversity has been our greatest strength.
White people do feel like we are being boxed out.
A 26-year-old white kid doesn't feel like he has access because he's been canceled. And the problem is black people.
I didn't say the problem's black people.
Well, you just did, Nick. You just
I said
said
the problem is crime. And we know who's doing the crime in Chicago.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
About the Holocaust thing?
About that.
We get to say whatever we want on the internet. We get to deny the Holocaust.
As far as Jews are concerned in general, I think that everybody in the country should be treated with dignity and respect and have their civil rights.
Like, what do you think about somebody like Mamdani?
Personally, I don't like him. Like, for example, on 4th of July, when he takes the opportunity to sit there with, let's be honest, not a single white person.
What about fucking Donald Trump? There's no ideological core to Donald Trump.
No, I agree with you.
Don Jr. got the largest loan ever given by the Department of Defense.
Vance owes his entire political career to Peter Thiel, whichever firm is the one to develop ASI, that could confer dictatorial-like powers upon the CEO of that company.
Everything that we think about the way in which we exist in the world completely changes.
Increasingly with Uber, Airbnb, the banking apps, you can't live your life without the tech platform.
Everything that AI is built on is ours. That's what they're stealing from us. I want to find common ground of how much of a shithead Donald Trump is. We can get there. We can get there.
Just interesting conversation there. A lot of it's just fucking propaganda.
I just don't see any positivity coming out of this administration. It seems very self-serving. I have a list of shit printed I could go through, but I mean, what was the last one? He fucking made it so he had Todd Blanche do the dirty work so that him or anybody in his family could never be audited by the IRS. What the fuck is that shit?
Mm-hmm.
The drone company, the $400 million jet from Qatar.
Yep.
The Executives Club. You know about that?
Yeah, that they started in DC.
You don't hear about any of this shit.
Yeah.
Does this shit look like he's serving the fucking people? No. So you're going to serve that? Or are you going to speak out against it and let everybody know what the fuck is happening?
You think he'd be better off?
Fox News sure as fuck isn't reporting any of this shit.
None of it. No, I there's no question that the corruption in the administration has been far beyond what
he sued the fucking government. He sued his own fucking government.
Yeah, but our country is not a Trump problem. It goes far beyond that. They're tearing it down as we speak. New stadium a little farther away. Okay, gotcha. We've all seen Erica Kirk a million times holding that cross out of the window.
No, Erica, I had a name and I had a brand before Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
We'll get to Candace in a second. We all seen the video of Erica Kirk holding the chain out the window, but this is a new video that released where she's holding the chain out of the window straight out of the funeral parlor, and she's holding it out an oddly long amount of time. I mean, the bitch is just a fucking con artist. So Candace went off on Erica Kirk yesterday because Erica called her she said that bitch, you know, and basically all of the manipulators came out and said,
This is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And I am not.
Please, Erica, we'll get to you in a minute. A lot of people were insinuating that because Candace is doing this, that she's going to get Erica killed. That was the new strategy, to try to shut her up, you know. And Erica came out and said that, you know, Candace is just trying to build a name off of her and trying to profit off of her husband's death and all this kind of stuff. So here we go.
No, Erica, I had a name and I had a brand before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. In fact, me and your husband built our names and our brands alongside each other and apart from each other.
And I can attest to that because I was listening to Candace every day. I so looked forward to Candace Owens every day before Charlie Kirk got assassinated. You know, we were knee deep into Brigitte Macron being a man. You know, we could care less about, you know, we were calling balls and strikes literally balls and strikes on other people. You know, she was busy being sued by foreign leaders, you know, not worrying about fucking their bullshit at Turning Point USA.
The world didn't know your name until he died. You attempted to build your brand thereafter, and you made an incalculable amount of money in the process. Do we all need a refresher on the things that she was willing to sell? The photos, the bloody mic in front of donors, the taken in front of it, the bloodied tent, people taking selfies under it. It took just 3 weeks after Charlie's assassination for Erica to file for 3 trademarks, granting her the right to his name on t-shirts, tote bags, any and all clothing. 3 trademarks. And those freedom shirts, which were sold immediately, remember everyone wanted a freedom shirt. They were actually very costly. Those were not sold through the charitable arm. Okay, former employees have confirmed to me that those profits went straight to Charlie Kirk Show LLC. So that's for her personal profit. Once upon a time, Charlie told me Andrew Colbert owned a piece of that company too. Andrew Colbert's personal profit for Charlie. And of course, it wasn't for Charlie. So as a refresher, I already had a name. I already had a brand. I was already being sued by the president of France. I think I was actually known globally. What did I sell when Charlie died? How many trademarks did I file? It is wild to me, okay, that this article goes on and states, quote, Erica is really offended that Candace would use her husband's death to make a buck, to get attention, to get clout, whatever it is. She's offended. That's her focus, guys. Once again, all Erica cares about is money and brand and merchandise. That's what she's angry about. It's such an unbelievable thing for her to share, for someone to say that. She's upset. She thinks Candace is making money. She doesn't have enough of it, apparently. They can't make enough of the money off of Charlie's death. So what she's concerned with is whether or not I'm making any additional money while I try to figure out who killed her husband. So let me make this perfectly clear again. Erica, please listen to me. When Charlie died, we had already signed all of our advertising agreements through not just to the end of last year, 2025, but through to Q1 of this year. So what that means, I don't really think you're well-versed in business, is that not a single additional advertiser was brought onto this platform and no existing advertisers had their rates raised, okay? We didn't make money in advertising. We sold 0 products. You remember all of the influencers, they raced to put his name, his face on cups, on t-shirts. We're going to share proceeds with Erica. We're going to do this. We all want to fight Charlie, blah, blah, blah. The same influencers who are now selling you the Fed slop about how he died, we didn't engage any of that. No, we were actually grieving. To the stark contrary, we sold nothing with Charlie's face. No memorabilia. Not a single item was sold by us in the aftermath of his death. Everyone racing to commemorate him by making money for themselves. And I would point out that in our tribute episode to Charlie, our biggest episode by views ever, we sold and consequentially read 0 ads. 0, none. Go back and watch it. It's still up. To my friend Charlie Kirk, no ad reads, nothing sold for the public. Our show before Charlie died was already in the top 10 globally, sitting above the Charlie Kirk podcast. And every single episode of our new podcast since we launched it back in 2024 has averaged well above 1 million views. Go back and check that. So what is it, Erica, that you are actually upset about? Really ask yourself that question, okay? Because time and time again, you keep reminding people that all you care about is money and brand and merchandising.
Yep, just destroyed her right there. Destroyed her. And that's all facts, too. All facts.
Not going to let the enemy have a foothold in my life. How am I supposed to be the mother I need to be? How am I supposed to be the leader of Turning Point USA, Turning Point Action, the youth, when I myself have a deep, unrooted, horrible, nasty hate in my heart? I cannot operate with hate in my heart. No one can. No one can be fruitful with hate in your heart. And I just, that does not mean we're weak.
Right.
That does not mean we're weak. That does not mean we forgive. I will never forgive that. Excuse me. I will never forget that. Sorry. I will never forget that. I will forgive it. But that's because I know that the Lord is just and sovereign.
You know what I mean? It's so easy to tell who's who. It's so easy to tell who's who. One is literally talent that cannot be stopped. And the other one, you know, like her and Lord Trump, they wake up just wishing they had talent. And they use everything at their disposal to create an illusion that they do have talent. They want to be loved so bad and they're willing to kill for it. But there's just nothing there. Absolutely nothing there. You know, especially once upon a time, she could have been like a sex symbol, at least. But with social media and everything now, it's impossible. You know, you got the world looking at all these little OnlyFans models, and, you know, nobody in a million years would be goo gone over that garbage, especially when you know the baggage that she brings. I don't know.
Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal, the architect of a horrific.
So let's listen to Mom Domney talk for a minute. You know, the duopoly, the illusion of choice, the left hand, the right hand. Do you want a democratic socialist communist, or do you want, you know, the Jewish Zionist homicidal pedophile maniacs that we're going to end up with anyway? Those are our two choices.
Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal, the architect of a horrific genocide against the Palestinian people. He is responsible for the killing of more than 73,000 people, for the maiming of tens of thousands of children, as those who survive undergo amputation without anesthesia, for the targeting of neonatal hospitals and maternity care centers, denying newborns even the chance to live, for the countless people he starved as he blocked food and humanitarian aid from reaching them, for the gunning down of hundreds of aid workers and journalists. And just last month, the UN confirmed that Palestinian children continue to be deliberately targeted and killed by Israeli armed forces, more than 8 months after the so-called ceasefire. The list goes on and on, all as we, as Americans, pay for the bombs that do the killing. There is a reason the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for his arrest. As human beings, we have spent generations building a shared understanding that there are crimes so grave they offend all of humanity. Anyone with their eyes, with their heart, with their conscience, should recognize the devastation he has wrought and understand that he belongs before a court of law. As I've said, I agree with the ICC that Benjamin Netanyahu should be arrested and tried for his crimes, as I do for anyone else charged by the ICC. My administration has reviewed every avenue available under applicable law to determine whether New York City could execute the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant if Benjamin Netanyahu came here. It is clear that we do not have the independent legal authority to enforce this warrant. The federal government, however, does, and I call on them to join the ICC and execute this warrant. And I want to be equally clear. Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in New York City, nor is any other war criminal at large. While we cannot end the genocide on our own, we can decide whether our silence will become another weapon, and we can examine every tool we have to defend the humanity and dignity of all people.
So Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal, is not welcome in Washington or in New York City, but he lives in Washington, D.C. Him and Trump have sex in the White House at least 3 times a month. So is that literally Iran and the United States now? Iran is New York and New Jersey. So Nutley is literally Little Tel Aviv now. Is that what I'm understanding? The mayor of New York City is telling Benjamin Netanyahu he's not welcome in New York City. But he literally is making babies with Trump in the White House, Netanyahu. Every other month he's there. Gianni, hello. Osada, Tomanuch, T to the O to the double D, father, teacher. Oh, that's Todd. Okay. Grateful. Don, Pepino, Delamura. Listening. Well, dang, you really got Italian in you. Sicilian in you, Gianni. You just take me on a roller coaster ride, even trying to read your text. You and Thindu. You even got Thindu beat. You're the most Italian speaking. You're the most Italian. You speak and you type English, but it's the most Italian English that we have in the chat, if that makes sense. It's like it's English, but it's Italian. Just a little, he says. How are you doing today, sir? Good to see you. So, I mean, this is just, and it's not going to go away. This is going to come to a head. And you already know they're jockeying for position. Like, J.D. Vance went on Joe Rogan the other day. Like, who the fuck cares about Joe Rogan anyways? Like, that's some metal badge of honor, you know? Maybe it used to be. Joe Rogan has zero credibility. Nobody gives one flying fuck what Joe Rogan thinks about anything. I know I don't. I could give a fuck less what Joe Rogan's view on anything is. You know? Now, if he has a guest on there and he doesn't fuck it up by cutting him off, I'll listen, but it just doesn't make any sense unless you just know that, you know, it's the puppet masters just controlling everything. You know, how did we get to this point where we have such a hostile work environment between New York and Washington, D.C.? It literally is a microcosm of the Iran-Isreal war. You know, how did we get to that point? And it's been, you know, step by step over decades, and we just not really paying attention to it. And now it's got to the point where it's like everybody's paying attention to it. But it's a little too late. Joe Rogan's a jerk off. He used to be really entertaining. Sometimes definitely overrated. Yes. No, there's nothing there anymore, you know. He just has his stupid friends on 20 fucking times each. Probably 30 times at this point. You know, I do like the fact that Mom Domney, you know, made a stand and said, you're not allowed here. But I can guarantee you, and this just goes right back into what Hey Teacher was saying about, I think it was, yeah. I said last week, something is brewing, especially for the 25th anniversary of 9/11. I mean, think about that. He just said that Netanyahu's not welcome here in New York City. You know, it's a recipe for disaster. And as the deadline to determine whether there's going to be a trial for Tyler Robinson, September 1st, the anniversary of 9/11, and it's the 25th anniversary. Yep.
Oh, stop! Oh my God! Is that a plane?
It's got to be.
Oh. No. Is that a plane?
This is a plane that they found using some new type of technology that they have that crashed off the coast of Puerto Rico. It was headed from Puerto Rico to New York. Pan Am flight on April 11th, 1952. Killed 52 people, 64 people and 5 crew members. And originally, like, everybody survived. But a bunch of people sank. And they changed a lot of safety standards because of this. But anyway, they just found the plane.
No rocks, no rocks, no rocks.
Oh, God. That's a plane. Whoa. That's a plane. Look at that. That's a plane. Oh. That's a plane. It's a plane. Okay, that's a plane. Holy. That's a plane.
I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, this could be a couple years old. Who knows? I don't watch Discovery. I just now seen that was on Discovery Channel. They're both jerk offs. Yeah, 100%. The problem is that they both have a lot of supporters in this country. You know, if you look at Netanyahu, you have, it's basically the people that are propping them up have literally all the power in the country and all the money. You know, you've got the oil money, and then you've got, you know, the Zionist Jews that they literally own everything else, the banks, along with everything else. You know what I mean? So, and then at the top of it is, you know, fuck world politics, man. They just absolutely suck. This dude right here, I don't even know why Rampage Jackson goes on. You know, he's a former UFC fighter. Didn't have a really good ending to his career. But now he's on all these kick streams. And this gay Mexican streamer touches his dick. And he tells him, if you touch it again, I'm going to see what happens.
That's a real nigga. I don't play that gay shit, nigga. Don't touch my dick. Respect straight people. No, you're not straight though. Okay. You want to find out, nigga? Yeah. You want to find out? Yes. Touch me again. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. You look like gay. You look like gay. Yo. You look like
I mean, just absolute, just garbage pails, all of that garbage, you know, but it's just what it evolves into to get clicks and views on, you know, it's just crazy. Total, just, like I said, I don't know why that guy even is doing that to himself. Find some other way of making money, Rampage. Seriously, you know, you're too old to be a streamer like that. Hanging around kids. It's kind of weird. The sonar stuff is awesome. How it shows you at the bottom. I've seen those diving with purpose. Yeah, it is really cool. You would have laid him out. Yeah, he couldn't because he's on stream. He hit him just hard enough to where he's hopefully not going to get sued. But That's just. So we have Lindsey Graham, who just passed away. And then we have this guy, Andrew Colvett.
My message.
You guys know who he is. He is the guy who sits in Charlie Kirk's chair, profits off the Charlie Kirk show, and speaks for Charlie Kirk now. Although he says nothing that Charlie Kirk would have said. It's interesting that him and Lindsey Graham are on the same team, but yet there's always in-house fighting.
For no reason in particular, I found myself a little curious as to the whereabouts of TPUSA's Andrew Colvett around the time of, let's say, Lindsey Graham's death.
Here's my message to Lindsey Graham.
He does not sound happy.
Shut up.
He sounds angry.
Stop talking.
Kind of threatening.
Stop saying things like this.
You just wait to see what comes in the next 2 weeks. We're going to blow the hell out of these people.
Stop saying things like this.
Iran is going down and Cuba is next.
Every time you speak, President Trump loses support.
Kind of sounds like he doesn't want Lindsey Graham to ever speak again.
Stop.
Stop.
Lindsey Graham, please stop.
Stop.
If you are in a primary race against Lindsey Graham, you have my support.
Sounds like he doesn't even care who it is.
I don't care which one of you wins at this point. Somebody's got to beat Lindsey Graham.
That's a man who really wants Lindsey Graham gone.
Just stop, Lindsey Graham.
Stop. Candace, just saying.
And it's so weird that these people that hijacked everything, walking around touching dicks for TikTok, fucking 2026. Exactly. Oh, you talk about Dick Talk, Gianni? Dick Talk? Yeah. Dick Talk, OnlyFans, fucking PubeTube. I mean, all of them. Sit on my Facebook. They're all just fucking they're just wilding out, all of them. You know. Can you imagine being in a room with a bunch of soulless demons that want to be the person that gets the most views in the room? Oh my God. Fuck that. I wish they would do something with Cuba. I'd really like to not have to worry about fines for Cuban cigars anymore. Which, you know, I mean, I know you're joking, Johnny, but it is true. I mean, it's fucking total bullshit. You know what I mean? Total fucking bullshit. It is amazing that the countries that are so close to us are so far away. You know, geographically. Cuba, Mexico, Belize. I mean, they're just right there, but boy, are they hostile territory. Joking, but serious. Yeah, no, 100%. It's interesting. But back to Andrew Colvett here. Who the fuck are you? Why are you the one that's telling American people that we shouldn't vote for Lindsey Graham or, you know what I mean? Like, how did these people get this powerful? Erica Kirk, Andrew Colvett, Josh Hammer, Ben Shapiro. Why do they have so much say so? Why would we care? And so, you know, this guy talks as if he's like in control of the whole game. Listen, if you're, you know, I'll vote for anybody out there running again. You know what I mean? Like it's very weird. You know, who is giving these guys so much power? These guys are complete idiots. You know, it's obvious that they're not the smartest people in the room. So who's giving them permission to have all this? It doesn't make any sense.
Primary race against Lindsey Graham, you have my support.
Sounds like he doesn't even.
We'll move on. It's things that keep me up at night.
I want to address that point you just made.
Here's some more Andrew Colvett. I love how it just goes straight into the next video sometimes, where he's admitting that he's the one that sent some text messages between him and Charlie.
I want to address that point you just made. There are some people that are honestly skeptical. I've never had any ill will towards that crowd because I am that guy. You know, there much has been made about this leaked group chat that got out where Charlie's talking about a Jewish donor, right? And you know, Candace put that on her show.
So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, oh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. And somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term. In my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe.
That I've owned that publicly, that came from me, because when Charlie was killed, I was willing to look under every stone. I wanted to leave no stone unturned and ask every question. Was there a larger conspiracy? Was there foreign involvement? Was there a foreign nexus? Was there any of this stuff? I have gone down, when I tell you I have gone down every rabbit hole imaginable, I'm not just saying that. I have literally pushed and prodded on every piece of evidence that I know how to push on. And so I've got...
He's really trying to spin the narrative there. But the thing is, you got to get something from your car. Hey, teacher. All right. Johnny says geniuses. The thing about Andrew Colbert, you just have to remember, okay, he's admitting here, he's just talking to Charlie on that text. That's him. I'm thinking about inviting Candace. Ugh, he said. Now, rewind back in your mind to what he just said about Lindsey Graham. When Lindsey Graham, they're on the same team, but Lindsey Graham is speaking out too much to where he's losing Trump support. He can't, he doesn't like, Andrew Colbert doesn't like what he's saying, so much so that he's like, he wants to get rid of him. So how do you think, and now he's sitting in Charlie's desk after Charlie's killed and saying things that Charlie never would have said. Teacher, you must stay away till yes. You got to sign a waiver that you're going to come back. We only have 3 viewers, so we need you here.
Vice President J.D. Vance just went on the Joe Rogan podcast and made some...
This is Ian Carroll. He doesn't really do podcasting anymore, which is really interesting because I know he has some health issues. So he kind of had like a change of the way he views things in life, what's more important, so he's staying off the computer a lot more. But he's still on there. And when things trigger him like this, he'll speak out against it. But the thing is that when he was getting knee deep into the Charlie investigation, he actually had an app that was tracking planes. He's the one that built an app to track all these planes. And then he got threatened. And that's when he was like, a few people got threatened all at the same time. Back when Candace was even getting threatened, like they were saying some crazy shit about how they were going to get Candace. But I think they scared Ian Carroll here enough to where he backed off. But anyway, he has to talk about J.D. Vance going on Rogan for a second.
Vice President J.D. Vance just went on the Joe Rogan podcast and made some very choice admissions about Epstein and Isreal. And it was just over a year ago that I went on Rogan and the world had a complete meltdown because it was the first time that someone had spoken candidly on such a big platform about Epstein and his ties to Israeli intelligence. But the vice president just came out a little over a year later and basically confirmed a whole bunch of what I said. Jeffrey Epstein was just an employee of these organized crime rings that work on behalf of like the CIA and Israeli Mossad and British intelligence.
Well, most people think he was Mossad.
Yeah, Mossad or CIA or some other deep state, whether in America or Israel or another country, or both.
So that when Jeffrey Epstein goes down, no one knows who he worked for.
Right.
He worked for intelligence, and I was told to leave him alone.
Right. Well, that was one of the things about the prosecutor was told that he was above their pay grade. I mean, it was one of the things that
he said he was like CIA or something.
Yeah.
Right.
He said I was told he was intelligence.
Right.
When you really dig into Epstein, his entire network was Israel. It was clearly like Ehud Barak was the ex-prime minister and the ex-head of Israeli intelligence. Leslie Wexner was one of the most powerful pro-Israeli philanthropists. The whole organization was Israel.
So
And
it
I'm
was
not saying it was all of Israel.
It was all an intelligence gathering, and
it was targeting Americans. It was targeting American officials and the American president.
Epstein was using sort of the sex ring to blackmail rich and powerful people. Epstein seemed to be connected to the elements of the Israeli deep state that were left of center.
Leslie Wexner owns Victoria's Secret and L Brands, right? He's the bank that bankrolled Jeffrey Epstein. And I was saying earlier that he signed the power of attorney over to Jeffrey Epstein. And the reason why you do that is so that you can claim that you don't know about his operation. He was just my money manager. I didn't know he was running this thing because I wasn't involved in any of those transactions.
If you go back to the original Epstein guy was Les Wexner, okay? Epstein was his tax guy. That Epstein was like the genius at identifying weird tax strategies. It would allow Epstein.
I'm going to stop it there. Of course he was Jewish. He was a Mossad. Yep, the Mossad files. You know, the whole Epstein thing is just weird because, you know, I don't know. It's like saying Israel. What does Israel really mean? What does Israel really represent? Israel represents, in the context that they always use it, as an elite group of people, an elite class of people, the ruling class, the people that are, you know, the upper crust, the upper tier, a different justice system. They don't play by the rules; they make the rules. They play by a different set of rules. And we don't, you know what I mean? And that's what that is. Hey, teacher's back. All right. She is back. So we can get back to it. You didn't miss much. We were just talking about JD Vance being on Joe Rogan. Ian Carroll took exception to what he was saying because he was on Joe Rogan saying the same thing, and he got hammered for saying the things and got called a liar and all this kind of stuff. Anti-Semite. Well, JD Vance kind of got a little pushback too. But we'll move on. What else do we got? Surely we have something more interesting than JD Vance. Although I would not be surprised, because a lot of people say that one of the reasons why JD Vance went on Joe Rogan at such a weird time is because they're propping him up to be president. As in Trump doesn't make it out of his term. So, you know, stranger things have happened because look at how many assassination attempts there's already been on Trump. So, wild times we live in. Hey, teacher likes JD Vance. Vance will be the next prezi, says Gianni. Yep, more than likely. But there's a lot of people out there that voted for Trump that are saying that it doesn't matter if it's Hillary Clinton, Gavin Newsom, Hunter Biden, Kamala Harris. They're going to vote for them over anybody in the Republican Party. So, and the thing is, too, is like, I mean, pretty much aren't both sides capable of rigging the election? I mean, I think we could pretty much all agree on that. So, if anything, that part of the story is going to be wild. I mean, how does that work? If we all cheat, if the three of us are playing poker, Gianni, Hey Teacher, and Osada, we're all playing poker and we're all cheating. And everybody knows we're cheating. I know you're cheating. You know I'm cheating. Everybody's cheating. But we're still playing the game. And we're playing for big money. So who can out-cheat who? I mean, how does that work at the end? You think I have, 4 aces, but when I lay down my cards, it's actually a royal flush? Like, how did he do that? I cheated. You know what I mean? It's like, who can out-cheat who?
And royal flush is the highest hand. Well, maybe the money that I put in the pot isn't real money. Maybe it looks like real money. Who knows? Who really wins in the end when it comes to cheating? Hey, teacher doesn't know how to play poker, and Johnny says, me cheating? Never. Iran will be after him and his family for all of eternity. Oh, JD Vance. Yeah. They won't kill Trump while he's in office. But what if he gets sick? Look at what happened to Lindsey Graham. Maybe that was a warning. I hope not. I mean, as much as I don't like Trump, I would not want to see our political system that disrupted. That would not be good. I mean, it's very unsettling. We weren't here or at least I wasn't here for JFK. But I can imagine that had been a pretty uneasy feeling, when the prez gets killed. I wish we could play cards on here somehow. Now, Chalk plays poker on a thing. They need to make it better. Yeah, I would love to, Johnny. I would love to play poker just for fun, or for just a small amount of money with my friends. I'm really good at poker, but I just don't invest anything into it because I don't want to live that lifestyle. I don't want to go down that road. I've been down that road before, and everybody thinks they're a good poker player, So, although I do have plans to play in poker tournaments in the future, which I am going to, just not now, not anytime soon. But my buddy is a poker dealer in Arizona, and they have a really good poker. They have good poker action down there. At the Gila River. There's like a few different casinos, but the one that he works at and another one, they have, they even have like the Arizona State Championships and all these, they're really big tournaments. So, and the fact that he lives down there, we talk about that all the time, but I just don't want to concentrate on it right now. Because it does kind of, your mind, it takes a lot of focus away from normal shit when you start playing poker. Hey, teacher says Trump ain't going nowhere. YouTube should start a casino deal. I'm sure they will. Slippery slope, yeah. And there's, speaking of cheating, there's just a lot of cheating involved in poker. There's been some people exposed for it, even in the last year or so, and that ain't the half of it. Just because they caught a big thing doesn't mean that's the end of cheating. And do you really trust a computer? I mean, there's always going to be somebody that knows more about computers. I don't know. The Gen X effect is in the house. There's a game, apps like Play-Doh, where you can play with friends online. I don't see why someone couldn't stream it as they play. And that's what Chris Chalk does. Can drop the link. He drops the link, and somehow you can join the table. You can invite people to play. Yeah, I don't know. We should figure it out. I think that would be cool. It'd be fun to maybe play like a little speed tournament or something. It kind of gets a little dry. Hold'em tournaments. They have like little turbo tournaments where, you have to act a little bit faster. The play clock is a little bit faster. The blinds go up a little bit faster. It'd be fun. Gen X is a video poker fan. Delivery truck. All right, Gianni. Yeah, video poker is fun. When I worked at the casino, when I was a shift manager for the Keno department, I did that for like 3 years before I became a dice dealer. I just watched
you just sit there and you just watch people play slots for hours. Slow day would be nobody playing Keno, really. Nothing to do, but, you can just see people playing slots off in the, they wouldn't be very, very far away from where we were at. It's crazy. And then it makes you want to go play them. Funny. But yeah, no, I mean, as far as online gambling and I definitely see more of that in the future. The thing is that they have to pass the laws nationally before they can really go gung-ho with it. Because like in Washington State right now, those guys are literally in Washington, D.C. right now, fighting against, at least they were yesterday, fighting against Polymarket and Kalshi, those predictive markets websites. I don't remember why I bookmarked this video other than that looks extremely dangerous. Not a good idea. I would hope that it looks like they're kind of tied in there, but they're harnessed in. But still, that cannot be illegal to do that. This one is just crazy. A man armed with an AR-15 wandered through a North Las Vegas neighborhood, firing into homes, with one bullet entering a residence. Officers subdued him after a violent confrontation. He later died at the hospital. Police say no residents were injured. So brace yourselves. I'm going to turn the volume off. These videos are a little too much to handle sometimes. So he's on somebody's porch, just firing out on the street, running around. I mean, the only reason why I even play these videos, and look, he's knocking on that door, and then he just starts shooting from there. Never in a million years would you think you would wind up in a situation where you get a knock on the door, and the dude who knocked on the door is crouching down, shooting at other people's houses from your doorstep. What do you do in that situation? So I guess if anything, it's just good to look at a video like this and just imagine it in your head, like in a once in a million chance. What the fuck would you do in that situation? You know what I mean? Maybe that would be a way for me to learn it. Poker? Oh, 100%. Hey, teacher. I was the last job that I ever had, and I would still do it. They ask me every year, but I'm always too busy. But I always say that there's only one guy that I'll ever work for again besides myself. And his name is, I can't think of his last name right now, but his first name's Bob. And he runs a company called Fantasy 21. And it's a casino company where he goes to, we do it for like Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon when they were here, and a host of other companies, law firms. You'll go to like, I've dealt poker on the Space Needle for him on that observation deck, or we do a bunch of cruise ships. And basically the company has a Christmas party, and we set up crap tables, blackjack table, roulette table, poker table sometimes, and they come in and play. And, they always hire me for dice because they only have a couple people that know how to deal dice, craps. And of course, nobody knows how to play dice. It's just a Christmas party, and they're not playing for real money. Sometimes they'll have prizes, like whoever ends up with the most chips,
You know, they might have a table full of prizes. So, you know, there is an incentive to play and win a little bit of money if you can. But it's free and they just give you the chips. And so my job is to, you know, and I've been a real dice dealer in the casino. I was for 3 years. But your job is to take somebody that doesn't want to play because they don't know how and they'll be embarrassed, and get them to play and tell them you're just going to teach them step by step by step. You know, nobody knows how to play this game, man. Please just step right up and we'll teach you. And there will be 2 of us on the table, you know. And, you know, the basic of the game is you know, 7 or 11 you win, 2, 3, or 12 you lose. Any of those other numbers becomes your point. And at that point, you want to roll that number again before you roll a 7. That's it. That's all we need to worry about right now. You know, and you just start from there. And they're like, okay, this is easy, you know. And then after a while of just keep rolling and rolling and rolling, and nothing really, you know, there's no decisions being made because either you need a 7 or you need a 5. That's the only 2 numbers that need to be rolled. You get a little bored. You're like, hey, well, you could bet on this. You could bet on the inside, or you bet on the, you know, the 5, 6, and 8. You know, and it just goes from there. Poker, same way. Poker is the same way. I love teaching people how to do that, you know, which is kind of weird because I'm so anti-gambling, especially online gambling, but that I do that. I'm a fucked up individual every time I think about it, but that's just me. AR-15 style rifle, that terminology drives me nuts. That's why you heard what I said, Gen X. I just called it an AR-15. It's the same with me. I just said AR-15. Not going to waste my time saying that shit. The AR-15 style rifle as he wandered through the North Las Vegas neighborhood, firing into homes. You know, I mean, it's a fucking AR. That's what it is. But yeah, and I get you. Let's move on, shall we? What do we got here?
Stance on power.
So we go from, yeah, this is just this, you know, I know we're all sick of this stuff. This is almost kind of Chud the Builder-ish kind of video here, but it's the state of the world right now. This is a Canadian billionaire walking through the streets of Canada. Same thing going on in America.
My brother, may we ask you your stance on Palestine? Can we ask you what your drug of choice is? Can I ask you what your drug of choice is?
Sure.
What's your drug of choice?
Aspirin.
What's your stance on Palestine? No stance, man? You're too scared to say it, man? You're too scared to say it, man? You look like an evil white man. You're an evil, evil son of a gun, huh? He's an evil guy. Look at his little companion. That's your companion. He don't talk much. You're the mean one. AI this guy's face. This guy's the devil in the flesh. You were the devil, El Shaitan. Where is he going into the store? He's got a whole entourage of silent patsies. Don't you ever look at me sideways again in your life, boy. Don't you ever, boy. Excuse me, guys. My brother.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, a couple of years ago, these videos would just be like, turn it off, please. Why are we wasting our time watching this garbage? And I still feel that way. But at the same time, these videos become more and more realistic. We just heard Mom Domney say Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in New York City. And it's because, and he even said it, even right before that, it's because he supports genocide. You know, they're genociding the Palestinians. You know, I don't know how this shit it fucking has anything to do with America. You know what I mean? We need to be worrying about St. Louis and Chicago and Memphis and Seattle and fucking, you know, Miami and Dallas and Fort Worth. Fuck all that bullshit. We got enough things to worry about in America. Damn.
She doesn't ever address.
That's Canada, though. This
any
video.
of my claims about her lawyers. About
this video is just hilarious. Laura Loomer
You know, she has attacked Candace relentlessly so many times. Relentlessly. Even had Trump calling her an ugly person and a stupid person and all this kind of stuff. Candace's response is always calling her Larry Loomer because she looks like a man. And Laura Loomer's response is just fucking hilarious because you know it gets to her.
She doesn't ever address any of my claims about her lawyers, about her husband, about her trust, about anything. She just calls me Larry. She wants to insinuate that I'm a man. Well, how did I have sexual relations with the president if I'm a man? Which one is it, Candace? Am I a man? Do I have a dick? Or am I having relations with the president of the United States? She can't even keep up with her own lies because she's just a pathological liar. Now, obviously, neither of those statements are true. I do not have a dick. I am not a man. And no, I've never had sexual relations with the president of the United States. This is absolutely absurd. She doesn't ever address any of my claims about her lawyers, about her husband, about her trust, about
These people are just so weird. So weird.
Ended up happening is the judge sort of split the baby and presented the raw.
Andrew Colvett. What does that mean? These guys, some of the things that they say are so fucking weird. Brian Harple talking about looking at Charlie Kirk after he got shot. He had doll eyes. That's a weird fucking statement. I heard Andrew Colvett said dead to rights. And I know that's not like, I know people do say that from time to time. Just kind of weird to say that about this whole situation. Now he says split the baby. You guys are the Epstein class. I wish you could just not say that. Split the baby.
Ended up happening is the judge sort of split the baby and presented the raw video surveillance footage. They had a whole edited one that was shown to the court after and to the media that was there, but it was not broadcast publicly. That was kind of like a John Madden style video where there was, red circles where the suspect was walking on campus, or it was zoomed in and enhanced in some sort of way. And the family got to see that. The media got to see that after the cameras turned off on Friday. And I'm told it's, remarkably clear. You can see license plates. You can see his face. You can actually see him kind of roll onto the roof, the Losi Center, assemble the rifle, move into position, get into the prone. You can't see his face because it's so far away, but you see the moment where the shot we know happened.
Wait a minute, what? You can see you can see the license plate and his face, but on the rooftop you can't see his face? That doesn't make any sense.
And you see him immediately run off. And so yeah, I mean, there's a mountain of evidence here, and I just wish it would have happened months ago, but nevertheless, I'm grateful that information's got out there.
If anyone just looked at Candace Owens for a second, unemotional.
This guy right here is a nobody. I don't even know his name, but it is a perfect example of the tactics that they're using when, these people are the pedophiles and the satanic death cult, but they're trying to vilify people like Candace Owens, that anybody that goes against them, they're Satan, they're the devil, they're evil, they're this. Watch this guy. I don't know who he is. You could just tell this motherfucker's not a good person.
If anyone just looked at Candace Owens for a second, unemotional, detached from the Charlie Kirk stuff, they would see that Candace Owens is a psychopathic villain. Like, it is so clear for some of us. And many people have asked, Josh, why do some people see this so clearly and some don't? And the reason why, I've thought a lot about this, is it comes down to, do you have the Holy Spirit with you or do you not? And this is something I care a lot about. I think the gift of discernment is real. I think that there are those of us who really try to have the Holy Ghost with us. And I think the Holy Spirit really is a superpower in today's age because there's so much evil around us. Those who have the Spirit with them, it is so clear to see the bad actors, to see the devilish works happening.
And, that's something that we have to be aware of. If anybody has young kids that are in the school system, public school systems, this is what they're going to do to your kids now. They're emotionally blackmailing them with this type of stuff. You're evil. You're satanic. You're not a good person. Your soul is dark if you don't go along with the narrative. You know, that's what they're going to be up against. This is just the way that everybody talks like this now. Erica talks like this. All of those Zionist people talk like that. We'll move on. This is Canada. I'm going to not play this sound. What is this guy doing? This guy is stealing a police car. Oh, yeah. He had already been tased. He has a gun. And this is the part that, this is why I bookmarked this. This guy far to the far left, I think, ends up shooting him first. But this female cop back here, and this is Canada with the Pride. I think this is their version of Pride. She has her gun drawn already. She's had her gun drawn. She puts it away as the other guys are firing. So if anybody can make that make sense. This guy, what's his name? Hades, is that his name? Nearly loses an eye after being hit with the glass. So it's a performer performing and somebody throws a glass at him and it shatters on his face. Unbelievable, man. People are just so fucking dismayed. You know, and it's crazy. I wouldn't want to be a performer these days because in this hostile world that we live in now, you don't know who's who. And people aren't being held accountable for anything. You know? Fuck that, man. It's dangerous out there. Okay. This is the video that I wanted to play earlier. Okay. When I say that Erica Kirk is a pedophile and that she is attracted to underage girls, you can see it in her face in this video. She talks about how girls will ask her how they can find their perfect boyfriend or something like that. And she gets really angry about it. It's weird, man. She is so fucking weird, this chick.
That bridge is burned.
Hi. He's in the bathroom. His celery juice cleanse. Okay.
We can always tell it's 3 minutes of showtime.
I know. So do I need to do anything?
This part is just cringe right here too, because she has to make this all about her. Even the wheels being adjusted, everything about her.
I feel like I'm so. Is there wheels on this?
No, it's.
Hi. Hello. Hello. I'm not going to be able to focus sitting this close to him, just looking at him. I know. I'm just going to be staring at him.
We're very excited for this.
Is this supposed to be super upright like this?
No.
This may not be the video that I'm talking about her talking about the girls, but I do have it coming up.
I mean,
Because I feel like I'm
maybe,
launching.
but there's a way to adjust it.
It just needs to be back. Just
Which one is it? Hold.
I know why I bookmarked this video. I bookmarked this video because you get to see her eyes actually transform into the devil when she lays eyes on Charlie. It is wild.
Oh wow.
More?
No, that was great. Put it a little bit less.
A little less.
Yeah.
I made it smaller.
Oh, that was good.
Better?
That's good. That's great. Okay. I don't really know who's watching the TV.
Watch your eyes.
Yeah, exactly. And I would have these girls messaging me being like,
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
yeah, exactly. And I would have these girls messaging me being like, how do I find my Boaz?
And watch
I
this.
would have these girls mess. And I would have these
Look at that frown. You can't hide certain things.
girls.
Look at her face. When these girls would message her talking about how can they find their beau, their perfect boyfriend, and look how angry she is. That's just fucking weird.
And I would have these girls messaging me being like, how do I find my Boaz?
What? Hello.
Hello. And welcome to the Charlie Kirk podcast.
You have to say that.
Buckle up. Here we go.
She is, oh my God. She is a fucking weirdo, man.
Burned between Erica and Candace. It's more than burned. It's been blown up. There's no reason for Erica to ever speak to Candace again, ever, the family member said. Candace decided to make this her identity. It's a grab for attention, building her name and her brand and making some money.
We already listened to this. This one I'm not going to play. Man killed after assaulting father with baseball bat in Meriden. Suspect shot by police. Connecticut. These police arrive, and 38-year-old Robert Lee Jenkins III is striking his 69-year-old father, Robert Jenkins Jr., in the head with a baseball bat. And the dude's already dead, and he just keeps repeatedly striking him. And it looks like he's tired. Looks like he's been hitting him for a while because it's not even hitting him very hard anymore. It's just, you never know with people. Dustin Poirier, you know, he got drunk, got kicked off a flight, got into an argument, was being pretty belligerent with the flight attendants. Obviously has a drinking problem. Excuse me. So he's laying off the booze, and Bud Light immediately terminated him, and I don't think he's very happy about it because he's calling it poison.
What do you think stand between you and Bud Light?
No, they terminated my contract immediately.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's all good, man. I don't need that fucking poison in my life.
So you feel at peace with it?
I mean, it sucks that my family loses out on the money I had left on the deal with them, which is a few $100,000. But also, if I'm representing something that I'm not going to be, if I'm advertising something I'm not going to be taking part in and promoting stuff that, you know, it's just, it is what it is.
Sure. You don't want to be you don't want to be sitting here saying I don't drink and then being in a commercial for something that you're not using, basically.
Right. And I don't have a problem with people. There's plenty of people out there who do drink responsibly.
Sure.
I'm not one. So if you can drink responsibly, have fun. Drink a Bud Light. Drink whatever the hell you want. Be responsible. Have a good time. I'm not that person.
What do you think stand between?
Yep, a little soul searching to do. You know, I mean, kind of hard to turn down that money, I guess, for a lot of these people. But what does it cost you in the end? You know, to advertise online gambling or advertise alcohol. You know, what does it cost you? What does it cost the people you advertise to?
I know. I'm on highway.
A bear ended up on a light pole somehow.
56.
Are you calling about a bear?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, it's on the power pole.
Yeah, it's alive.
Yes. Just leave it.
Okay.
And because I already called the Game and Fish, and they said there's nothing that they could do. they could go and shoot it, like tranquilize it to get it down, but it's gonna end up, if they do that, then it's gonna fall and could hurt itself. So they told me that.
I know. I'm on highway.
Yep. I mean, if the bear got up there, he can get down, right? How did the bear not die? Let's see if we can find out any more information. Because I don't want him to die either. It says the animal safely reached the ground unharmed. Somebody used a fiberglass pole from a bucket truck to gently encourage the bear to climb down. Yeah, it says that's normally what they'll do is they'll try to encourage the bear to come down on its own. And then if not, they can tranquilize it if they have to as a last resort. But it got down on its own, which I figured it would because that happens all the time. And bears are excellent climbers. Like there's no way a human could ever escape a bear climbing up a tree. It's not going to happen. Those things are quick, up and down. But it's a sight to see. It's something you don't see very often. All right, I think that's all the videos I have to. So I think I'm going to end it there. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Like, hey, teacher, made it to the end. Thank you for hanging out. And Gen X and Gianni. And safe travels to Sweet Tea. That was a mouthful to try to get out. Todd's at work. Hey, teacher. Tommy Stiggs is in a meeting. Grateful was here. Yep. All right, guys. Yeah, you as well. Hey, teacher. We'll see y'all later. Have a good day.